Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of my series in Kenshi, The General's Quest. Last time we left off with Circuit gaining his first soldier, or right now as you would refer to them as squad mate. Now, together, in the desolate wasteland, they shall conquer. But first, Circuit tells Molly of a group of people who helped him to become strong enough to defend himself in these wastes. And that she too would need to learn if they were to both survive. And so, with what little wealth they still had, Circuit took Molly into the training area. Molly was to train on the combat dummy, whereas Circuit would train around. And thus the regiment began. Molly was the only one of the two who needed to eat, so she was given a few rations before the training began. Hopefully it would serve her well in the coming training regiment. Circuit, as always, was steel-minded and thought of the future, whereas Molly thought of what her future may hold. She knew nothing of Circuit's intentions, and so she dreamed of becoming a renowned chef the world over. Something she would mutter to herself. Circuit, hearing this, would wonder. He doesn't know very much why he's wondering, but Circuit wonders on these mutterings of his one ally. But it is quickly drowned out by the sound of continual pummeling. As day broke, the regiment continued. They did not know it was day until some of the wandering shinobis talked about the coming sun. It is beautiful in days like this. Some say it's mesmerizing, but in a world like this, there's danger in everything, even the beautiful. Circuit surmised his next goal would be to get some active combat training for himself and Molly, to hone what skills they had. Soon Molly would finish her training regiments and they would both head out to labor for money. Molly began to mutter to herself again, this time about what recipe she would use if she were to be making her own bread right now, like that which was contained in her pack. Circuit thought this illogical and asked her as he honed his skills why she spoke of such a thing. It was illogical to think of that which was not ahead of you, that which may never come. But Molly responded, that was the point. To think of the future is to think of what may happen, not what is going to happen. Nothing is ever definitive. Goals may change, and the world changes around us. as we change with it. Circuit thought these words wise, but surmised that Molly knew more than she was letting on. He would investigate this further, but for now, the regiment continued. Molly finally accomplished training, and they both set out. Circuit told Molly that for now they would not have much excitement, for they were still poor, and to do anything in this world they needed wealth. Large sums of it. They would accomplish anything substantial. Slavers, a nasty breed. Occasionally they would kidnap people from here, and most times they were just returned slaves. Brutal conflict had gone down here, while we two had worked. Around a bone dogly dead. A bit of wealth to be made. Circuit and Molly both headed into the bar. Molly thinking of what she was doing days before. What her life would have been like if she'd just chosen to stay instead of accept this stranger's offer. Would it be better? Worse? Honestly, they did not know. And with the slavers walking off in the distance, the two of them began the day's work. But then, they were attacked by some wild animals. Circuit was struck twice, viciously. These animals showed no mercy. Circuit was struck viciously, time and time again, unable to defend himself from the huge behemoths. Circuit was being boxed in. He could die like this. But through the rocks they were able to escape the immediate danger. But they were being followed, and they had to make it to the bar quickly, or they would all perish. Wild animal chased them inside. Now was the time for them to fight back, though. Circuit was critically wounded at this point. Molly and Circuit quickly realized their mistake and began to retreat. Or at least Circuit did. Molly stood her ground, bravely. Although, maybe not smartly. Circuit was down. Molly fought for her life amongst the great beasts. Her arm crippled, she continued to fight. It was now severely wounded, and she may lose it. Due to this fact, she was forced to retreat. Oh, her arm was torn asunder by the great beast. She could afford no more, and thus fled inside the tavern. Her blood loss was immense. She might not make it. She quickly ran upstairs to one of the beds to hopefully survive this ordeal. Circuit lay dying on the ground, but his will would not permit this to be his end. So, he picked himself up. Or he didn't. Apparently he had passed out. Molly, with severe blood loss. Bought for herself. There's no medical kit. Wait, there are. She bought for herself a medical kit and quickly used it upon herself before she would lose too much blood. She had to work quickly. It might not be enough. The clock ticked. Would this be the end of the general in his quest? Dying to some grand beasts? No, it shan't be. And just like that, Molly barely saved herself. Her blood loss ceased. But at what cost did this battle come? Molly was crippled and would be of no further use, at least for the current time. Molly proved her worth, though, by saving her general's life. They had survived quite the ordeal. Her arm lay in a nearby house, having been torn asunder with great force. Due to Molly's efforts, Circuit would survive. Whether he will be willing after this point to fight much more is to be said. The duo agreed that for many days they would need to recover. Danger comes in mysterious ways. One of these majestic beasts actually was attempting to escape. This could not be allowed. Vengeance would be had for that which was lost. Molly struck the final blow this time. Molly, even one-armed, still seemed to retain some combat ability. That Circuit admired. As he carried his gruesome prize within, he looked to Molly for guidance. She seemed to have survived the ordeal. Was driving cars. Through this endeavor they had become rich, but at what cost? What could they do now? Now that one of them was forever changed. No amount of medical attention could fix this. She knew the risks. She took them, and Circuit admires her for that. Thus Molly, in Circuit's mind, has proven herself to be his greatest champion. And later this would be rewarded. But that was something to be thought on. For now, their goal was survival. They had enough money to last them a while. Molly surmised to settle upstairs, whereas Circuit went to go find something to help his friend. The only other town he knew was a shack town. These creatures he had not seen in a long, long time. But it was what he needed now, and so Circuit, for the sake of his new friend, struck out to find more of his destiny. He passed new ground, stranger ground, roads paved not with anything but the footprints of many travelers. He passed over many kinds of dirt, red, brown. He also passed over many patches of sand and dust. But as he surpassed a great hill nearby, he saw the pass in which was his goal. Within it, there lay his prize, the town of Squin. You see, Squin was unlike the Hub. The Hub was lawless, but Squin was run by the Shack, a militaristic society based on defending themselves from the Holy Nation. The Holy Nation are just a bunch of prissy crusaders wishing to destroy all that is held dear by many in this world. Now, as he passed into the town, he was forced to search for his prize. The Shack seemed agitated at their lack of action. A strange thing to think about, but not unheard of. Many wish for peace, but the Shack, they wish for something, anything interesting. They spend their time honing their skills further than any other. They are animals when it comes to combat. This piqued Circuit's interest, but was not what he needed at the moment. At the moment, he would need information, and that could only be found in this shop. Maps, not really worth much, but incredibly valuable to a new traveler. discovered things on his map. Something caught his eye, a place called Way Station. This is where he surmised he could find a new limb for his companion. And so he went out of the Shek city and back into the wastes, seeing many peculiar sights which he could not describe, and fields upon fields of debris from ancient things he could not bear to imagine. He went off the beaten road and into the wilderness to reach his destination, believing it be the safest path. Would he be wrong in this endeavor? He continued on, faster and faster. There was an exile camp nearby. Strange, but not unheard of. He walked to the way station and found a repair shop. Could this be where he would find a limb for his friend? No. Sadly not. Defeated, he left this place. He knew not where to go now. Where else could he find a limb for his friend? He saw a starving creature. He wandered about the bar, thinking to himself, not knowing what to do, he spoke to the man at the counter. The man didn't really know what to say. There wasn't much comfort he could provide. Sadly, but truthfully. Now, Circuit thought to do the unthinkable. The hive had cheap limbs for sale. That which he could use to help his friend. May not be the best, but it would be something. Anything. And so Circuit struck out one of the most dangerous places in the world. And it was right on his doorstep. He did not wish to see one, but he thought that he might. The dreaded beak thing might be his end this day, but so be it. For he should show no fear. He need not, for the world awaits him. Acid rain. A very concerning sight to many, but just These trees could hide very many threats without him having the slightest bit of knowledge. A big thing nest was nearby, troublesome. He really did wish to find these hive, but they seemed to be eluded. And then he saw it in the distance. A fire coming up from one of their hovels. As dawn broke, he ran with hope, past the big thing nest. Worrisome. But he made it. In the nick of time. He spoke to the head hive trader. This one specifically had no limbs. But this was not the only shop. There's nothing here that I might use. There are many drones here. So this must just be one of their lived-in hovels. They seem to have a single building dedicated to limbs. Strange. Yet not unexpected. It was what he came here for after all. Hopefully, their quality would not be worse than he thought. Which arm was she missing? The left. Where? He walked up. Oh crap. A mistook order could lead to disaster, but thankfully it had been avoided. Thankfully the limbs here were cheap, but if only it was not required at all. But there's nothing he could do now. But he had gained what he had come for, and he ran back home post-haste. Hoping to not anger any wildlife on his way back, for that could spell doom. He angered some big things, but still seeing the Hiver town in the distance, he ran to them. He let the hive things fight while he healed himself from his near-deadly wounds. This place seemed harsh, but these hivers somehow thrived. It was a very strange sight indeed. Even more traders came in to help and aid in the fight. Potentially, Surgut could earn his money back from the bodies of those which had attacked him. Hopefully, the shopkeep had survived the raid. After finally selling the last of what he had gained, he chose to heal himself before heading out once more, this time, hopefully for good. Molly still slept to heal their wounds. Surgut saw many big things immediately upon his leave. He chose to manually run around these beasts instead of blindly following his map. A decision which saved his life in the long run. How he had not encountered these beings when in the morn, none may truly say. Now the village was discovered on his way back. It would give some refuge at least, should he be attacked. Another nest of big things upon the hill. But then the worst came for him. He could either make a run for it. That is what choice he chose. Oh god. Yeah, actually no, I am actually going to go north to avoid this shit show. He ran to the village for protection from these mighty beasts. He ran inside, bandaging himself up as the guards fought against these mighty beasts. The hive around him seemed like waves, a terrifying display. No. What happened? A rare gorilla appeared. Scavenging off the dead was not his preferred style, but Circuit could not complain. In the end, all the meat gained from this would feed his soldier for a long time. What did become of that? It still fought viciously against this. Circuit had to watch. The majestic creature fought against its aggressors with rightful abandon, but it was eventually felled by the massive hive. And the hive moved as one away from their kill, never sensing that which could be profitable. They are shady businessmen, but not the smartest amongst all those he knew. They were smarter businessmen and shadier. They just existed for the hive. Their made-up personas, having just been the forethought of their queen. Circuit got caught up in another wave of hive passing through. If he'd been anywhere else. If he had been anywhere else. Circuit ran back to the hub, hopefully not needing another stop along the way. This day had brought, and the ones before it brought him much adventure, strife, for the sake of others, something he had not considered much until this point. Circuit is, how do I put this? He is a skeleton. Unlike most beings in this world, they don't feel much, but through the brave display shown by his compatriots, he feels not love, respect. A respect he has never felt before, and a pride in that which was his friend. Friendship is such a foreign concept, but it is a welcome one, to be sure. And as Circuit arrived back, he handed her a limb. take the arm and attach it to herself, becoming once more whole. Not what she once was. Potentially stronger than that, but... Circuit motions for Molly to follow him. Circuit walked to the nearby walls, with Molly in tow. The sun was not so harsh this day. As they both gazed out upon the world from the walls, Circuit spoke to Molly and said this. You are a friend. That is all I have ever been able to call anyone. Thank you for allowing this within me. You shall be honored throughout all that you accomplish. Together, we shall survive. We are an army. Thank you all for watching episode 4 of my roleplay series. I've been having a lot of fun with this. And I hope you all have been too.